What's up, guys? It's your boy Ty, and I appreciate you guys being here with me on the podcast. Wherever you're checking this out, I appreciate you being here. Tonight, we're going to be talking about one of the keys to success, and that is effective listening. Along your journey to success, you're going to have to build genuine relationships with people that can actually support you. And you can build these genuine relationships by being an effective listener. I was recently in a course, and in this course, the speaker was saying how they met Bill Clinton, right? One of the former presidents of the United States. And they said one thing about Bill Clinton: when they met him, he actually was listening and took in everything that the person said. And the next time he saw Bill Clinton, someone that high of stature, and it was like a couple years later, he actually remembered the conversation they had and asked him follow-up questions about what they had previously talked about years ago. So he said Bill Clinton has a certain presence about him, and when he speaks, people listen. And I would think one of the reasons people followed him was because he was an effective listener. So we're going to go over 10 steps for effective listening. And I'm using an article off of Forbes.com. You guys can check that out in the description. Step 1 off of Forbes list: face the speaker and maintain eye contact. Now, we all know a lot of times we are busy, but when you're having conversations with people, if you can maintain eye contact, you know what you're saying is being received. If the person isn't really making eye contact with you or doing something else, you have to understand that that means that person is not giving you 100% of their attention. Yes, that person, we live in a time of multitasking, and a lot of times people are busy, but you know for sure when someone is looking at you eye to eye and they're taking in what you're saying, you know that at least, right now at that point, you have their full attention. And that is one of the key steps, having their full attention. The article also talks about, we don't do it as adults, but think about if you were talking to a child. If you were talking to a child and you want them to do this, sometimes you would even demand them, look at me when I'm talking to you. We get away from that as adults, right? We don't demand another adult to look at me while I'm talking to you. But if it was a child, you would do that so you would ensure that child understands or at least hears exactly what you're saying. You have their full attention. So it's a good practice. Make sure you maintain eye contact with the speaker. Step 2, be attentive but relax. So just because you have eye contact with someone doesn't mean, you're receiving everything someone says. So be attentive and be ready to serve. Step 3, keep an open mind when listening. So I know a lot of times people listen, and as soon as they hear things, a lot of times they already have a rebuttal or something to argue the point in their mind as soon as they say it. Once that happens in a conversation, that person might let the other person keep talking, but the whole time, and I know you've probably done it before, I know I have, the whole time the person might have said a lot of this other stuff, but you're waiting for your point, your time to interject this thing that you already pointed out that you want to hit on. Once you do that, you're no longer listening. You're no longer listening. So it's good to maintain an open mind and not just be ready to argue. Step 4, listen to the speaker and try to visualize what he or she is saying. So put yourself in the shoes of the speaker. Whatever the speaker is saying or feeling, try to feel that. This can help you focus on what's being said when you actually put yourself in their shoes. Step 5, don't interrupt and don't impose your solutions. When you interrupt what someone is saying, you're automatically saying what you're saying isn't important. What I want to say is more important right now. So I don't care about what you're talking about. That is what happens when you just interrupt with whatever you have to say. So being a good listener, you got to make sure that you aren't doing this. And sometimes people just want you to listen to them and not just throw out solutions. Unless you're asked, of course, you can give solutions. Those tips will make the person feel important. So I seen this post recently and it said, if you are talking and the audience doesn't want to listen, you're automatically devaluing what you have to say. So say less. If you're talking and, someone doesn't really want to hear it, why talk to them at that time? Because someone could actually have something going on. I know in the workplace, people can't just stop a lot of times what they're doing, or they're in the middle of typing something up. So, eye contact and all of that doesn't happen all the time. But if you feel like you just said something and, no one is really listening, say less. At the end of the day, you don't want to make yourself feel like you aren't important or whatever you have to say isn't important. You just ain't talking to the right people, so keep it moving. Save your words, keep your value, and keep it moving. Step 6, wait for the speaker to finish to clarify. Give them a moment in the break. Wait till they get out whatever they have to get out to ask the question. Number 7, ask questions only to ensure understanding. So just ask questions to clarify, not necessarily to challenge. Step 8, try to feel what the speaker is feeling. This kind of relates to the other steps. You want to put yourself in their shoes and actually take in what they're feeling. Step 9, give regular feedback. Feedback ensures that you did take in something and you said something. It could just be okay, I'm sorry to hear that, or something that ensures them that you were actually listening. Step 10, pay attention to what isn't said. Body language says a lot. Body language says a lot when it comes to communication, when it comes to everything. A lot of times people can say a lot by saying nothing. So just pay attention to those non-verbal cues when you're in the conversation. I know I have to read people all the time and trust that people are telling me what exactly is going on, being someone that manages people. So when I say, is this done? You be like, yeah, but I know that I need to go check that job. But I have to pay attention to those small things that aren't said. All right, guys, so that was 10 steps to effective listening by Forbes. And these are things that you need to look out for if you're on the road to success and personal too. A lot of these things are just basic ways of communication, ways to make sure that we are listening to the people that want to communicate with you. The way you listen is going to entail if someone wants to actually create and nurture a bond or one of those relationships with you. How you communicate and listening is a big part. So if you like this type of content, make sure you throw up that like and subscribe to the channel. Come back for more. Peace.